Julius just got exposed by a Giga Chad in ReZero Season 4. This is basically Julius getting his own Season 1 Episode 13 moment. What goes around comes around. Back in Season 1, Subaru walked into the royal selection acting like he belonged there, acting like he could stand with the knights, and Julius exposed the real gap between Subaru's act and Subaru's reality. But now, Julius is on the other side of that, because Reid does to Julius what Julius did to Subaru. Julius has spent the entire series hiding behind this perfect knight image. He is disciplined, elegant, polite, and carries himself as if that is what he needs in order to fulfill his duties. Then he meets Reid Astrea. The important part is not just that Reid is stronger than him. Julius already knows stronger people exist. What makes Reid different is the combination. Reid is stronger than Julius, Reid is someone Julius admires, and Reid is completely carefree in a way Julius does not know how to be. If Reid was just strong, Julius could accept that. If Reid was just disrespectful, Julius could dismiss him, but Reid is both. He is the first sword saint, basically a hero in Julius's mind, and he shows up as this arrogant, unserious Giga Chad who does not care about the roles Julius has spent his entire life worshipping, but he is still stronger. So Julius is watching someone he essentially idolized prove that you can be everything Julius wants to be without the act. This is what exposes him. And that in part is why the parallel to Season 1 matters so much. Back in Season 1 Episode 13, Subaru was the one getting exposed. That scene is painful, but not because Subaru gets killed. It is painful because he is annoying to watch. I have talked about this before in my video about why Subaru being annoying actually builds his character for ReZero, but that scene is supposed to feel bad. You are supposed to watch Subaru and think, bro, what are you doing? Please just stop talking, because that is the point. Subaru wanted to be the hero. He wanted to be the guy who suffered for Emilia, protected Emilia, loved Emilia, and earned the right to stand next to her. But in that room, he looked insecure, entitled, and like some random guy walking into a room full of knights, nobles, royal candidates, and actual political powers, acting like his personal suffering made him more important than everyone else there. And the complicated part is Subaru actually was carrying baggage nobody understood. He had watched Emilia die, he had personally died for her. He had gone through trauma that he literally could not explain to anyone. So from Subaru's perspective, his emotions make sense. But even if everyone did understand that, why should they care about Subaru's suffering more than their own duties, interests, and lives? Why does his trauma give him the right to embarrass Emilia in public? That is what Julius exposed. Julius had to be the sword in that moment. He cuts through Subaru's idealistic view of himself and forces him to confront what he actually looks like from the outside. Subaru thought he looked like the loyal hero. Julius exposed that he looked like an insecure guy using his pain as proof that he deserves something. Now Season 4 turned the tables back on Julius. Julius is the one getting exposed. Not for Subaru's exact flaw, but in that same kind of way. So what actually got exposed with Julius? Subaru's flaw was obvious. He wanted to be the hero. Julius's flaw is different. Julius wants to be the perfect knight. But it is not only about honor or duty, it is also about the image. Julius does not just want to do the right thing, he wants to be seen doing the right thing in the proper way. The elegant knight, the refined knight, the guy who always has himself under control. And we see this all the way from Season 1 to Season 4. Even when Julius helps Subaru against Sloth, he does it under the name Julie. That matters because Julius is helping Subaru, but he is also separating that action from the full image of Julius Jaculius. The public name, the reputation, the role, all of that matters dearly to him. He genuinely wants to be a good knight. The problem is that he has wrapped himself so much in that image that he doesn't know how to act outside of it. Everything has to be proper. Everything has to be controlled. Everything has to fit that version of a knight Julius thinks he is supposed to be. And Subaru sees through that. Subaru is messy, emotional, and unfiltered. But because of that, he can tell Julius is not fully being himself. Julius acts like everything is duty, honor, and knighthood, but there is still a person underneath that. There is pride, there is insecurity, there is frustration, and there is a part of Julius that wants to act differently, but refuses to let himself because it would break the image he has built. That is the flaw. Julius's knighthood is sincere, but it also has become a mask. His anger becomes discipline, his pride becomes dignity, his insecurity becomes composure. His real feelings get filtered through this perfect knight persona. That is why Reid is such a brutal opponent for him. Reid does not just challenge Julius's strength, he challenges his entire worldview and image of himself. In fact, Reid Astrea is the perfect person to expose Julius because Julius clearly does care. If Julius did not care about honor, dignity, discipline, and what it takes to be worthy, Reid would just be some strong jerk. But Julius wants to believe that all of his effort, restraint, and self-control actually means something. Then he meets the first sword saint, the legend. This is not just some random guy being stronger than him. We literally see Julius working hard, trying to improve, trying to become worthy, aspiring to be the perfect knight, with Reinhard outshining him almost effortlessly. But Reid is worse because Reid is the person Julius would build up in his head as the ideal swordsman, and then Reid completely breaks that image. He is indecent, he sexualizes Emilia, says he only has used the sword for a few months, fights with chopsticks, and does not care about any of the knightly rules Julius takes seriously, and he is still clearly above him. That is what shatters Julius. If Reid was random, Julius could dismiss him, but Reid is not random. Reid is essentially an idol. So when Reid acts like that, it shatters Julius's entire worldview. Julius believes strength, honor, restraint, elegance, and knighthood were all connected. Then Reid walks in and proves they are not. You can be legendary without being proper. You can be everything Julius wants to be while acting like the complete opposite of Julius. That is why Reid works so well as an exposure tool. He does not just beat Julius in a fight twice, he forces Julius to realize the ideal he worshipped was never real in the way he imagined it. And at the end of the episode, after Reid breaks him, Julius starts running from it. He does not want to confront the fact that this perfect knight image might not actually be the answer. And that is where Subaru becomes important again. Subaru has already been through this. He knows what it is like to have the fake version of yourself destroyed and be forced to look at the ugly version you are trying to avoid. So when Julius starts spiraling, Subaru can call him out, not from above him, not like some perfect wise mentor, but as someone who has already been there. Julius exposed Subaru in Season 1, now Subaru helps Julius confront what Reid just exposed in him in Season 4. That is growth for both of them, because the answer for Julius is not to become Reid. Reid is not the goal. The point is that Julius cannot keep chasing this fake image of the perfect knight while running away from himself. And rezero has basically given Julius the perfect chance to do that. His name was taken. People do not remember him anymore. The identity he built as Julius, the finest knight, was already cracked. And obviously, that is horrible. But from a character writing perspective, it is also the exact situation Julius needs. Because if nobody remembers your name, nobody remembers your reputation either. Nobody remembers the perfect image you worked so hard to create. So why keep performing it? Why keep holding on to the facade when the world has already forgotten it? Being the perfect knight is not the real goal. Being Julius is the perfect goal. Then whatever kind of knight comes out of that is actually real. Julius does not need to abandon his honor, duty, or knighthood, but he does need to stop treating knighthood like a mask. That is what Reid exposed. That is what Subaru helps him confront. And that is where Julius can start becoming himself. So Julius did not just lose to a Giga Chad. He got forced into that same position Subaru was back in Season 1. No mask, no fantasy, no clean version of himself to hide behind. Just the truth sitting right out in front of him. And now he has to decide what kind of person he actually is.